One of the best Resident Evil games to date is Resident Evil 8 Village, in my personal opinion. There has been no other game that has made me so anxious, but at the same time, so proud to be a horror fan. Most games that are quote-unquote horror nowadays are not very horrifying. Resident Evil 7, I was not a fan of. I was not a big fan of Resident Evil 7. That game, it did not interest me in the slightest. I didn't have high hopes for this one going into it. I really didn't. I thought it was going to be a waste of time. It was not going to do well. I played all 3 demos, or 2 demos. Whatever you want to consider the Castle demo and the Maiden demo one. Some people I've heard do, some people I've heard don't. I played all of them, and I thought the game was really good, really well drawn, really well planned out for a first-person horror game. Not many games have been able to do a first-person horror well, in my personal opinion. And it's really a good game to play. I love this game. I remember playing Resident Evil 4 as a child, and this felt so much like Resident Evil 4, but with its own twist, a whole new character, a new interesting story, and everything like that. I thought it was a really well plotted out story. There was some plot holes, like Ethan's hand for one, which that's a plot hole in itself. He had his hand destroyed. He had his body destroyed. This dude went through hell and back for his child. And any parent would. Any real parent would go through hell and back for a child. But when you look at his hand, it's chewed up. It's chewed up. He wraps it up and just goes on his day like la-di-da. It's just like another day to him. He had more character development in this game though than Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 I thought I was playing as a freaking zombie because he had no personality. Oh, I think I just killed my wife. Oh well. What was that? Like, did Capcom think that was a good character design? Like, come on, Capcom. We know you can do a lot better than... Oh well. The game, overall, in my opinion, was a very good game of Resident Evil 8. Compared to the other older games, I would say that it's not not a great game compared to the older ones, but to itself, to what horror is now, it is one of the best games. We have nothing, in my personal opinion, that comes close to how good this game was. The build-up of each of the 4 lords was really good. The whole story was build-up was good in my opinion. Like, there was some parts that were iffy, yeah. Overall, the plot was great. Ethan being stuck in his village, trying to save his daughter's life because of what happened. Did we know at the start that his daughter was going to be sacrificed? No. We were just playing as Ethan trying to get our daughter back after what Chris did at the start. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know that Mother Miranda was like Mia at the start. We didn't know none of that, but I theorized long back. I theorized that long back it was going to be something like that. I thought it was going to be the mold, which I was right about. Ethan still had the mold in him. Ethan was the mold, but I had to theorize that the mold was still in Ethan, and it was all hallucinations from it. I was wrong, but I was right, because Ethan did have the mold in him. Miranda was the founder, or the patient zero of the original strain of the mold. But I was sort of right in that situation. There were some things I got wrong, but I'm proud of myself for getting a lot of what I theorized right. I'm proud of myself for it. I felt good about it. I felt amazing that I actually was able to do that. Resident Evil 8 Village brought me back in time to when I was a little kid playing Resident Evil 4, but in a first person point of view. I felt like I was back in the day. I really did. I loved it. I really did. I love this. I love the game. I'm still playing the game to this day. I'm going to make as much content on this game as I can. I'm about to start doing some challenge videos. If y'all would like to see that, leave in the comments what would you like me to do as a challenge, like a knife only challenge, or a certain gun only challenge with no limited ammo, or something like that. I will consider the possibilities of doing it, because I really love this game. It's very enjoyable to me, and there's not much left for me to do in the game. Since the game came out, all I've been doing is playing the game. I've been making content on the game. I've been playing the game 24/7 almost, it feels like. I've almost got everything unlocked. I've got almost all the ammo. Only thing I cannot do well, because I'm shit at the mode, and that's mercenaries. I'm still working on getting better at the mercenary mode, so I can unlock the lightsaber. That looks really cool. I want to try it out, see how it is. Does it break the lore of the game? Yeah, but let's face it, there's not much lore left in the game for it to be concerned about, really. Like, the game is still grounded in reality. The game series is grounded in reality still. But they did go a little Silent Hill in the last 2 games, which is all fine with me. I would love to see Capcom take over Silent Hill, since Konami won't do shit with it. I would love to see Silent Hill in the hands of Capcom. That would be amazing to see. In my point of view, that would be, oh my god, that would be take my money, I'm ready to go kind of thing. Because they do really good. Resident Evil 7 was like the demo was like a PT trailer. Well, PT demo. I feel like they did that. PT inspired them to do that. I can't say yes and I can't say no, because I'm not in their heads. But I think it was really inspired by PT. Resident Evil 7. I think the first person point of view people crap on. I crapped on it in Resident Evil 7. I thought it took away from the horror factor in Resident Evil 7, but in this game, it really does well.
Anybody home?
It does great in this game. I don't know if it's the atmosphere, because they do really good with Capcom does really good with atmospheres too. But I don't know if it was the atmosphere in this game or what. But it really drove home the fact you were playing and trying to survive. That you were trying to survive in this land, in this village, that you know nothing about, but you know that there's something trying to kill you. You know there's someone out there trying to murder you. You know something's out there, but you can't see it. A third-person view would probably have ruined this game's atmosphere. Because in a third-person view, you can see more around you. You're more aware of the situation around you. It wouldn't have worked well, especially in how it's been Viento.
The fire's moving fast.
Oh my god, that was the most horrifying part in the whole game. I wonder if people agree with me on that, or if they don't, but that to me was the most horrifying part in the game.
I know.
I don't like dolls. And not having my guns where I can shoot this doll if need be,
I just don't get it.
scared me. It scared me to death. And I physically wanted to puke. I played this game several different times to unlock every little thing of the game. All the concept art, try to upgrade all the guns I can. Did I feel like I could go through the valley of Shadow, I think it's what it's called, the Village of Shadow difficulty, with ease if I wanted to. But I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, because I don't really have the time to invest myself into sitting down and crafting all those medicated meds, because I'm going to need a lot of meds. I know people have told me it's like one hit and you're already in the red. I want to try it, but at the same time I'm kind of iffy on it. But I'll get around to that. I really will. Eventually. Back to what I was saying. The game itself is great. I love this game.
Nothing but blood and death.
This game has brought back so many memories, has brought back a fear factor I haven't felt in a Resident Evil game since the original 3, really. When Nemesis is chasing you, that's when my heart went boo 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 boo. But
Well.
it's really good.
Didn't think anyone was left.
I really love this game.
You must be pretty tough.
If you don't, that's fine, because not everyone has to have the same opinion. But your opinion is wrong. This game is amazing.
Even better.
If you still want a Resident Evil with third-person view, that's cool too, but it takes away
Mother Miranda's gonna love you.
from the atmosphere. You feel like you're in the character when you're first person, especially if you have a VR headset and then play that game. If this game was VR compatible, I'm sure a lot of people, including myself, would love that. Where you're surrounded, where you feel like you're physically Ethan. Where you physically feel like you're that character. It would be amazing. And Capcom might down the line add a VR game, just a straight up VR Resident Evil game. Who knows? They did with Resident Evil 7. It was really good. It still wasn't really scary, but it was really good.
Furthermore, I can show you if you entrust
Wasn't bad at all. I liked it.
my daughters and I will deliver to you. Fine.
But if this was VR, I'm sure a lot of people would jump at the chance to play it. Especially just if they just played one part, which is the house, the dollhouse.
So
That part alone in VR
care for bread and
would
substances.
scare
The
a
man
lot of people,
things
including
suffering
myself.
I
I would probably have to stop recording altogether,
I've heard
pause
all
the
your
game, take a deep breath,
Some
and
of
then
you
get back
are less
into it and do it again.
persuasive than others, but I've made my
But that's just me, because I'm very nervous around dolls. I am an automatophobic,
fate is in your hands.
and it really
Mother
affects me
Miranda, I
sometimes.
must
It makes me physically sick to see dolls moving around that should not be moving around.
Devotion to you is questionable. Give them more.
It makes me sick.
I'm sure he is ready.
But still, I love this game. And the character designs, okay? The characters, Lady Dimitrescu was inspired by Dracula. The three daughters was Dracula, considered to be the comparison of the three daughters to Lady Dimitrescu and Dracula. Dracula had 3 wives that were submissive to him. These daughters are submissive to her. The doll. Okay, the doll and Donna were, I feel, were inspired by Annabelle, Chucky, Paranormal Activity, situations like that. Moreau, the fish boy, I can't, there's no hard evidence for me to find, like, I guess 'cause I really haven't looked into him, but I think he was based off the, like, a legend of the fish, a bunch of different legends put into one, which is really cool. And then you got Heisenberg, Heisenberg, one of my favorite characters in the game, has powers like Magneto from Marvel. That's fucking dope to me. Has a rebellious spirit. Even though he has his power from Miranda, he is a rebellious spirit. And it's cool to see someone actually rebelling that is not submissive to Miranda. He's fighting against her. It's cool. His whole section is based off Frankenstein. And apparently, from what I've read, some director is trying to sue Capcom for copyright. Because it does resemble a lot of their creature. Strom does consider a lot of their creature from the movie. But I never heard of this movie until this game. I never heard of Frankenstein's Army or anything like that until this game. The movie apparently came out in 2013. I knew nothing about it. Then I played this game, that whole controversy came up, and I seen what people were saying. There's a real large resemblance to it, but why sue them? Why sue Capcom for it? Come on. Just be happy more people are watching your movie now. Make another movie. Because follow the hype. Follow the train right now. Because people know about your movie. Make another movie. Follow that right now. Like, make another horror movie. Don't sue. Like, make another movie right now. The time you could be doing suing Capcom, you could be making another movie right now. And that movie could be a blockbuster right now because you were in the spotlight. If you do it, you could be in the spotlight and make yourself a lot of money doing it. So I don't know why they're choosing to sue Capcom instead of make another movie right now. The time they could be using to make another movie, they're suing Capcom. I just think that's stupid and silly in my opinion. Now let's talk about the Duke. The merchant. The big boy. The guy that carries you through the game. All the way. Can't kill him. He doesn't even know why he's there in the game. Like, he really says, I don't know why, I'm just here. He's a merchant. He was originally supposed to be the 5th Lord. The 5th Lord. There was going to originally be 5 lords to this game. So, how I see it, the Duke was supposed to be a boss fight. And that would have been cool to see. Would have been really cool to see. Because he has all this knowledge about Miranda, the Lords, the Cadeau. What she's using Rose for, he knows all of this stuff. He has that backstory that we could see. If he was a 5th Lord and it was a boss fight or just someone that's there, that would be cool in my opinion. To see him as a Lord that's also like Heisenberg but in his own way is just there for money. Because he is the merchant. His friend, his old friend, which is a Easter egg apparently in the game or hidden dialogue, is, what are you buying? Old friend used to say that. He knows the merchant from Resident Evil 4. They're old friends. They could do so much, like little files there, here and there, explaining the backstory of the Duke, what his real goal is, and who the like more about when he met the merchant, all that. That'd be cool. Cool though. I'm not complaining the slightest though. It sounds like I'm complaining, but I'm not. This game has made me just, it's giving me nightmare fuel at points. I remember getting this game, going to sleep, next day waking up, telling my wife I'm gonna go play Resident Evil 8. She didn't have any problem with it. This game, since release date, I have played non-stop almost. Like I said, I'm not the greatest at mercenary mode, because I could have the lightsaber right now, but I'm not the greatest at mercenary mode. I suck at mercenary mode. Even in the originals, I sucked at it. Like, the original mercenary mode in fucking 4, I'm horrible at it. I just can't do it too well. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get really good at it. I'm gonna get that lightsaber and I'm gonna try it out. And I'm gonna show Lady Dimitrescu what I'm all about. Like, because I've made memes. I've fueled the memes of Lady Dimitrescu because I don't know if it's the AI bugging out or something. I'll mess with her. I'll troll her in the rooms and stuff where she can't reach me and stuff like that. I'll troll them. I think that I'm doing well as an overall player of Resident Evil. I think I do well, knowing what I know. I looked into a lot of the lore that I can find on the game, like in the files and stuff. I'm still missing a couple files, so I can't be 100% on the whole lore of the game, which I'll probably do a lore video when I get all the lore files found. Because I might be just small files I'm missing at the beginning or something that I've overlooked. The little collectibles, the goats. I'm kind of sad that they don't do anything. They're just a trophy. I'm sad they don't do anything like in the older ones. And I think even in the remakes, if you broke them, they give you like an unlimited knife or something. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that. I believe Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, if you broke all the bobbleheads, they gave you like a reward and then the infinite
I bring you fresh
knife.
You are so kind to me, daughters.
I could be wrong. I know it was in Resident Evil 2 for sure. I had to go back and play Resident Evil 3 and to verify it for myself, but I haven't played Resident Evil 3 in a while.
Well, Ethan Winters. You
Back to what I was saying. Scatterbrain falling all over the place again. Stay on topic. Resident Evil 8.
Yes, Mother.
One of the greatest horror games to date. If they go in the way of Silent Hill, like, I'm fine with. What are they going to do? They're going to sit there and go, yeah, you're taking ideas from Silent Hill. Konami's done nothing with Silent Hill. Silent Hill is just a skeleton. They stopped the PT demo. There's no news on an actual new game. It's like, why not let Resident Evil go with it? They're still in reality, like Vampire Lady, aka Lady Dimitrescu. She's not technically a vampire. She has like regenerative abilities that she needs to drink blood and eat flesh to keep that regenerative ability, or she'll go out of control. Donna and Angie, Donna actually put the Cadeau parasite into her doll so she could control him from a distance and mess with your head with these flower pollens to make herself look like a ghost. Moreau, he's just a giant mutated fish person. That's pretty much all his body did was reject it in a way to where he turned into gills. But he can't control he can't control the transformation. He's pretty much like Delago, but they can walk. And Heisenberg is like Magneto, where he can control things with electrical field around his body, all metal, which is cool. I would love that ability, not gonna lie. That's really fucking dope. I wish there was an alternate ending where you sided with Heisenberg and beat the shit out of Miranda and then fought each other for Rose's safety. That would have been awesome, because I would have joined up with him first playthrough. Just so I could save some ammo for Miranda. Ending wasn't bad, not gonna lie. How it leads into Resident Evil 9, or possible DLC with a silhouetted figure coming towards the car, which it could be Ethan. but it also might not be Ethan. They're leaving it in the air for us to theorize that it could be Ethan, but I don't think Ethan will return that way in Resident Evil 9. I think Ethan will return in a different way, because he, along with Evie, aka Evelyn, they're part of the Megalomycete. I think that's how you say it. Because Miranda makes that point a lot at the end, that you're going to be part of the Megalomycete DNA. She drives that point home.
Found your daughter? No.
Why would she drive that point home unless Ethan was going to die, then make a return in 9, like in some type of form? It could be that he speaks to Rose through her mind, because she has the powers of Evie.
Speaking of looking,
He is a mold. She has the mold power. He could speak to her through his mind, through her mind. She could do that. He could. Who knows? And then I read about the concept in the concept art about how Rose was going to fight some of Ethan's adversaries. What adversaries? You kill them all in this game. Unless in the first couple drafts of the story, they were going to have one of them live. They were going to have one of them survive and build up an army or something to attack Rose. I don't know. I don't know, like, what their idea was. And then Chris wasn't supposed to be like, I'm sorry, Ethan, shoot Mia, quote unquote Mia. But he was supposed to show up in city clothes and everything like that. I don't think he's part of the BSAA anymore either. I think he left and become independent or something, because in the concept art, when you look at the BSAA soldier that's left over from Resident Evil 7, that's a North American BSAA tag. Now, like I said, I could be looking into this a little too much, but it strikes me as he's left the BSAA because of some falling out between them. Now, a really big falling out between them. If they're all going part of the connections kind of thing. It wouldn't be the first time the BSAA has gone dark, though, like gone to the dark side. Because if I remember correctly, in Resident Evil Revelations, the director of the BSAA at the time went dark. I could be remembering it wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be remembering it wrong. But I think the BSAA guy, like the director of it, the North American branch, put like a whole thing in the place where he was trying to make his own virus on the boat, and it got out of hand or something. Again, could be wrong. Haven't played Revelations in a long time, like a really long time, so I could be really wrong on that situation. But it would make sense that Chris would leave the BSAA if they had a fallen out like that. Even though he's a founder, he could have found something and decided, hey, I need to go my own way. He built this team up of his own team. What was it? Alpha Wolves? Alpha Hounds? Hound Dogs? Anyways, I don't remember. It's late at night, so ignore me not remembering everything properly. But built his own team up, and they've been in 2 games. They weren't fleshed out in Resident Evil 7, but they're fleshed out in this one. Technically, from what I have read, we were supposed to be able to play as each one of them during the end of the game. When you take over as Chris, there was supposed to be a 3-way war between the BSAA, the Lycan, and Chris's team. And you were supposed to be able to take over and control each of the characters during that process. Which was a really neat idea to think about. but I don't know if it was like time consuming. If it was time consuming, or if something went wrong during development, but that was cut. Like the idea of the Duke being the Fifth Lord, and something about him coming in on a carriage that went crazy and wild, he couldn't control the horses kind of thing. I think that was cut too. But what are you gonna do about it? We got a really good game here. One of the best that I've played in a long time. This is probably gonna be until I see another Resident Evil game or another good horror game. This will go down as my favorite horror of the early 2021 year. Might be for a long time that I keep playing this game even after I platinum it, because I love it. I'm not just gonna platinum and get it done. I'm probably gonna play it more and more and more. This game is really fun. I can't drive that home. I can't drive that enough home. I love it. I'll keep saying it. This game is really fun.
Shall I give you the tea?
Do I wish they put a little bit more horror into it? Yes. But I go back to when I said I read some stuff where they said that they toned down the horror because Resident Evil 7 was too scary. To who? That game wasn't scary at all. It was more boring than scary to me. I don't understand how that game was considered scary. To each their own. To each their own. To each they've grown. I guess. I don't remember. I don't know the saying. But if this game was even more scary, people would still probably be playing it. The puzzles weren't really hard either. I wish Resident Evil would go back to difficult puzzles, because the puzzles in this game were very easy. I think the hardest puzzles you could pass up, and they weren't really considered main story. You had to go find a ball, put them in the labyrinth, and that was probably the hardest puzzles in the game. Like, and
What the hell?
they weren't that difficult, but it's just like, I don't know about all this, because what made them difficult really was the angle where you had to tilt it and get it right. If you weren't in the right angle, you could probably fall in a hole and have to start all over. It was one of those things like, I don't know about all this. It was good though. The puzzles were decent. I wish Capcom would go back to like the old puzzle kind of style, and we have to like do a bunch of puzzle stuff. But I also understand it's 2021. Not many people have the attention span to sit down and do like extremely long puzzles. Capcom had to grow. Like, it would be cool if they could. Be cool if they could do like all that again, where it's like extremely long puzzles. It took you hours to figure out. Maybe one day they'll go back to that. I know it sounds like I'm complaining, and a little bit I am, because the puzzles weren't that difficult. But overall, I love this game. If I had to rate it in two different categories, action, which this game has a lot of action, and horror, I would probably give it the action as an 8.5, just because it has a lot. I mean, a lot
Mother Miranda, I
of action in it.
inform you that Ethan
After the starting, after the intro, when all that happens, it's scary,
Because he
it's
is in my
spooky,
castle,
because you don't have no
he's
light. You're like, oh
my
no,
daughter's
I have this
hand.
little pocket light.
I will
Oh,
find
I'm so
him.
scared. Then the crows just starts from the fucking hanging upside down. That's a little
Yes,
jump scare.
Of course, I understand the importance of the ceremony.
And then you feel like you're being hunted because you can't see what it is, but they're just running around you. That's good. It's really good
Hell with the ceremony. That
for the horror aspect.
pay for what he's
And
done.
you get into the village, and you're just being constantly hounded by the damn Lycan at the start, because I guess because you're bleeding, and then the Lycan rips your fucking hand off pretty much, and you have to wrap it up and all that.
Child who isn't even here.
I thought that was crazy.
You ungrateful.
That Lycan just ripped your fucking fingers off. And like, ooh,
You lay your filthy man hands on my
it was pretty interesting to sit there and think
and now
about.
You even try to steal my
Uh,
property.
but horror, I would probably give it a 9
Rest while you can.
because the dollhouse,
Hunt you, and I
still,
will break you.
I have nightmares over. If they didn't add the dollhouse, I would give it 0. Actually, I wouldn't give it a 0. I'd probably give it about a horror at a 5, because it does set the atmosphere up pretty good for some horror scenes. But it's really action driven. It's not a bad game. If you've not played the game, please do yourself a favor, borrow it from a friend, pick it up, buy it, do something, because the game is great. So, Capcom does amazing work with their games. They put some love in them.
You'll be sliced to ribbons
They put a lot of love in these games.
before you ever see a child.
And I wouldn't have minded if they did add more scary
You
to
will
it.
learn what it means to insult our young
I mean, I got anxious at parts in the game because I'd have no gun, no ammo. My hand would be cut off and I had to run away. So I couldn't use a gun. It'd make me anxious. But the dollhouse, it revolted me. And I loved it. I hate dolls, but this I loved. They brought back an old idea that they were going to do for Resident Evil 4. Not many people remember this or know this, but the original idea for Resident Evil 4 was Leon in a castle fighting ghost zombies. Part of what I've seen of was Leon hallucinates and these dolls attack. In a third person aspect, that was really good. But also it was really bad because you could see the dolls moving in all that in third person. But in first person, if those dolls were moving, you'd have to listen for the cues, the sound cues, or something like that to make sure you got it. Horror done right in first person is really good. I love it when it's done right in first person. I love the Four Lords, even though Angie and Donna's one of them. I fucking hate them, but they're still good.
Pleasure to see you safe. How
They
was
gave
it?
me a true factor
No sign of
of
Rose.
fear.
So sorry it turned out that way.
They really let me invest
You'll
myself
find your way
in
to
this
the
game,
Witcher, out of this castle.
and
Do you
It's
have need of
amazing.
anything for the road ahead?
that's all from me.
Oh, good. I was just thinking of ways.
Feel
pass
free
the
to like,
time.
subscribe, share if you like the video. Hit that bell icon. This is the Fallen One. I'll see you around. Peace.